Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man versus Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go, New York, go, New York, go!
Hey everybody, it's episode 299 of the New York Knicks podcast. It is our post-draft extravatacular.
You mean pre-draft extravacacular?
I should not drink rum before the show. Pre-draft. This will be.
You're drinking rum on a Sunday night?
I drink rum every night. This is the only way I get through grad school. So this will be the last episode we do before we know who we're drafting. So this is quite exciting.
Right. And we also will be wrapping up the NBA Finals as well. Should we just do a quick wrap up of the NBA Finals and then go to the pre-draft stuff?
Sure. I'm sure once we get on the draft stuff, we won't stop. So yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, we're never going to stop. So let's just go. Instead of I am going to cut out here, Jay, you have your interview with LeBron. You want to just play it?
Sure. Who does LeBron sound like?
I have no idea. Just start talking.
All right, so LeBron, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome for having me, Jay. I know you must be pretty excited to have the world's greatest podcaster on your podcast.
I thought you were the world's best basketball player.
I am.
Also podcaster?
I am great at everything. There's nothing I don't touch that I'm not amazing at.
Oh, okay. So what are your thoughts after losing in the finals?
It's bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. The NBA's got to change their rules. There's no reason this ridiculous minimum of having 5 guys on the court at the same time on your team is ridiculous. If they would just get those 4 guys off the court, I would win the title.
Well, 1-on-5?
Yeah. I mean, do you think the other guys are at a disadvantage?
Well,
I would be in Golden State myself, easily. The fact that I had JR and Shumpert and all those Mos, if it was just me out there, I could ISO on every play. I can stop them on defense. I'd probably blow them out.
So you guys played a lot of small ball. I know you guys were concerned about playing small ball because of the rebounding.
It's because I let David Blatt think. I should never listen to the thought he has. I'm the greatest coach ever, if you know that.
Blatt won a lot of championships in Europe.
Yeah. That must be amazing to win in Europe. That must be tough. Wow.
So
you won in Europe.
So you're the best coach, too?
I'm the greatest coach on the planet.
Okay. Well, what about your teammates? I noticed JR missed a lot of shots.
Yeah. That's when I have to play with people that are beneath me. JR, I don't know what he does. I can't. Why did we take him from the minor league team he was on?
I thought you were also the GM.
I'm the greatest GM of all time.
But you wanted JR.
Listen, if I have to play with 4 other guys, I have to settle for what I have to settle. But until Larry, whatever his name is, Silver, changes his rules and lets me play 1-on-12, until he does that, I can't win every title.
1-on-12?
Yeah, I want to change the rules so the other team can have 12 guys on the court and just against me.
Are you going to be able to defend all 12 guys?
Yeah. I can defend all 12 guys and smoke a cigarette.
Great. That sounds like the world's best defender.
Yes, and I'm the only person that has beaten cigarette. Lung cancer, my lungs are so strong, cancer can't even beat them. Lung cancer enters them from my smoking, and they just get defeated right away.
World's greatest lungs.
Yes. Everything I do is amazing. People compare me to Jordan. It's a joke. Jordan was nothing compared to me.
Did go 6-0 in the finals.
Yeah. Because it's unfair. He had guys that can play basketball on his team. I had to play with JR.
Okay, well,
If you've seen JR, his pregame workout is at the club.
I did see him taking shots with the hoodie over his face.
And there was the better players we had. And we had this was ridiculous.
All right.
And I had to injure Kyrie Irving to even get this guy on the court because Irving was so bad.
All right, LeBron. Thanks.
You're welcome for getting to speak to me. I'm the world's greatest human being. Just to let you know.
Good. Awesome.
There's no one better than me. I have to say, like, I do think the NBA will change its rules. Let me do 1 and 12.
We can only hope.
I'm also the world's greatest orator, or speaker.
Great. Just gotta learn how to
Do you
say
think
it
do you think they'll rename Earth LeBron?
They might rename the NBA LeBron.
They should. You should be dribbling a LeBron, shooting a LeBron.
All right, goodbye, LeBron.
You don't want to keep talking to me?
It's too much awesomeness for one podcast.
It's too much awesomeness for this planet.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna go conquer the moon.
You're very humble. Thank you.
No problem.
So that was in response to LeBron saying he was the greatest player right before losing the finals for the fourth time.
What do you think? Do you think this hurts his legacy?
Not really. I'm like torn. I don't think it hurts his legacy just because the team was bad. I know everyone was saying, a lot of people were saying, oh, LeBron's missing 3 starters. First of all, you can't count Varejao. The guy's been injured for 5 straight years.
Yeah,
That doesn't count. I'm not sure about Love because he's so bad on defense. I feel like they're a better team without him on the court.
I just don't think even with Irving they would have won this.
Yeah, Irving's bad too. I feel like if you had Irving and Love, Golden State would have been scoring like 115 points a game.
Yeah, you would still lost. Just would have lost by you just would a higher score.
Because I mean, Tristan Thompson and Dellavedova are way, way better on defense.
Right.
Like Dellavedova was shutting down Curry some of the time, which Irving obviously cannot do.
If Wiggins goes on to have a decent career, will this be one of the worst trades in NBA history?
Yeah, if Wiggins turns into an all-star in the next year or two, absolutely.
Wiggins looks like he will turn into an all-star.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is such a I mean, at the time I was saying it was a good idea, but it's just been a terrible, terrible move.
It was nice seeing David Lee finally get some playing time.
Has anyone gotten less out of 2 number 1 draft picks in consecutive years?
No. First of all, nobody's gotten number 1 draft picks in. Oh no,
Orlando did.
Orlando did, yeah. So they're the only team that did, and they got nothing. So
yeah, 2 number 1 picks 2 years in a row, and you end that by having neither pick on your team, and a year later, the guy you traded for is gone.
Yeah, that's really, really bad.
This is like a Knicks level of incompetence.
Yeah. Yeah,
and the thing is, if you're a Cleveland, you don't even want to re-sign Love. The money obviously can be better spent than re-signing him.
Yeah, I mean, they looked way better with Tristan Thompson on the court than they did Love.
Yeah, just add a bunch of good role players, or add another guy they might add Wade.
They
heard that?
actually might, yeah.
Yeah, it's that, or the Lakers might try to get Wade.
LeBron should just keep getting players I don't like on his teams.
He's just gonna basically bring back the Heat over. Bosh is gonna come back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was a good finals. The last couple games weren't as exciting as the first few, but it was awesome seeing Shumpert and JR alternate missing shots for an entire series. It was also great seeing JR catch fire when the series was over. Because
what's your take on Maz not playing and going small?
I felt like that might have been a mistake. Like Maz had 28 and 15 the last game he played, and then they
didn't play. Yeah,
and then they didn't play him. I don't know.
It seems to me you can't. If the other team's strength is small ball, you can't just match up with. It's not your strength, you just can't just do what they're doing.
I feel like the games when they went big were much closer than the games where they went small ball.
Right. I think you played into Golden State's hands. I didn't really understand the move because you didn't have the talent to go small ball with them.
Maybe Coach LeBron said he wanted to go small.
I mean, obviously. I mean, just Obviously, Mozgov was going to have trouble guarding like Iguodala or like Green, but then just go into Maz, try to get him in the post and like make Golden State pay for going small.
Fun fact: this is the second year in a row the player guarding LeBron won the Finals MVP.
That is kind of random. I heard that also before, but I think Iguodala totally deserved it, and like Leonard deserved it last year.
Yeah,
but I guess part of it, if you would keep LeBron in check, that's MVP enough.
Iguodala was awesome.
Yeah, he was really good. I don't understand how Golden State has 10 good players and we have 1.
No.
It's not even fair. Iguodala was on their bench. How does this work out? How do they even have these guys on the roster?
Their bench was Lee, Barbosa, and Iguodala. All 3 of those guys would have started every game on the Knicks.
Yeah, if we had the guys from their bench, we would have been like ecstatic for next year.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how did that even happen? I don't know. Lee's gone, right? Lee's a free agent?
Lee is gone. He's not a free agent. He has 1 year left on his contract, but they already told him that they're going to try and find a place for him where he would actually get playing time.
Yeah, I mean, that's reasonable. Would you want Lee back?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he won't be a bad guy to get back. He doesn't play a lot of defense.
His defense has been really overblown, though. He was not terrible on defense.
Are you defending his defense?
Yeah. It wasn't terrible.
No, it just wasn't.
I mean, he's not an all-world stopper, but it wasn't like Amari bad.
No. We were like, oh, we don't like Lee's defense. Let's find someone worse.
Yeah.
Does Bogut have another year or 2 there?
Yeah.
I mean, for Golden State, I guess you want to keep. I'm just wondering what you do as Golden State. Like, you played so good. I guess you need Bogut for teams that are actually good. Have like
don't forget.
Size.
Yeah, they were really, really good with Bogut in the starting lineup. It just so happened that not playing Bogut worked well against Cleveland. But if you were playing, like having Bogut
Memphis
worked really well against Memphis. So
right, no, that makes sense.
I think where it gets redundant is with Bogut and David Lee.
Yeah.
Do you know
you might rather have Bogut out there because Bogut plays better. Bogut's a better defender than David Lee.
Here's 2 interesting facts about Golden State that drive me up the wall. One, their oldest player. Do you know this?
No, I don't know. Tell me. I haven't heard this one.
Their oldest player is Barbosa, who's 32. That is the oldest player on the team, and the highest paid player is Lee, who made $16 million.
I knew that Lee was the highest paid player. Why isn't Stephen Curry still on a rookie contract?
No, remember when he had ankle injuries for like 3 straight years?
Yeah.
Golden State's like, well, we don't trust your ankles. How's $11 million a year sound?
That would have worked out poorly for the Knicks. Knicks would have done the same exact thing, and he would have said, "Okay, never going to play a game again."
And then he would have like stepped on a landmine and had no feet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess it was a questionable. I don't know if that would have made a difference in the series, but I thought it was questionable to go small. But I say LeBron, whatever. I mean, there's nothing. There's only so much you can do with your roster. You kind of have to have like players around you that are good, also.
Yeah, this is what happens when you build a super team, though. If somebody goes down, you have nothing.
And if both the other guys go down, I don't love the super team thing. I think unless you're really going with like unless you have LeBron and Wade, it's not going to work.
In their prime, because LeBron will probably have Wade next year, and it won't work out at all.
No, yeah. I mean, the thing with LeBron and Wade, where they were both amazing on offense and amazing on defense.
Right.
So that made it really, and Bosch obviously was pretty decent also. That's what it made it work. But for the most part, these super teams are pretty much bad ideas.
Yeah. I mean, look at every team other than those Miami teams. You know, Dallas was a well-rounded team. Golden State, the well-rounded teams just do better.
No, I mean, when the Knicks paired Amari, Melo, and Chandler, they won a bunch of titles, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the draft is on Thursday. I can't take these goddamn rumors anymore. Phil Jackson has an interview where you don't even know what the hell he's talking about. Oh, we need a big man. You need every position on the floor, actually, Phil Jackson. Yeah. Oh, we need guys to play the triangle. The triangle is very important. No, it's not. No one else in the NBA thinks it's important. Why are you stuck on the stupid triangle?
Yeah, how about just get good players? I don't care if they fit in the triangle or not.
Who gives a crap about the damn triangle? Just get good players and adapt to and adapt your system to the players you have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we literally need all 5 positions.
We had an entire season of hearing about the triangle, of seeing guys try to work the triangle, and it was, I know the players sucked, but it was kind of a disaster.
It was, it was the worst.
It was, the second worst in the NBA. I think there was one of my favorite things was that Steve Mills. First of all, Phil's talking about how Steve Mills is going to be taking over soon. For a guy who has truckloads of cash coming, he's not even that interested in sticking around.
Wait, he's saying Steve Mills is going to take over for what?
Running the team. Did you not read this interview?
No.
Okay, let's go to the interview. Hang on. He wait, let me find this. They get a little Q&A, and so Jackson says, the question was, no offense to Steve, but why weren't you at the team's public face on the day after the draft lottery? Jackson says, I see Steve as the future of this franchise.
Didn't Steve have a terrible run in his last job?
I mean, I'm here for a time. I'm trying to help turn it around the best I can. But I can see Steve having a lasting tenure here. There's delivering truckloads of money to you. Unless you feel like you're going to die soon, you should talk about yourself being part of the franchise going forward.
Yeah, considering this is, his first year?
His first year, and he's already talking about putting this stuff behind him.
Great.
Yeah. And so, what else did they say that just drove me crazy? Two priors in the offseason with big men. Let's see. We saw the season that was not going to be successful. They traded away Amari, Pablo, guys that wanted to be in the playoffs. That was nice of them. I don't think the offensive system has to take a backseat to anything we do. We're looking for people who want to play a full basketball game and want to be able to make plays, that want to be able to do things that are credit to their skills. I think people that want to play the full game have seen that demonstrated, and if they're interested in doing that, they know this system can feature what they can do. And we have people who are interested, and so we feel good about that. That sounds...
Did you just make that up?
I'm reading what Phil Jackson said.
So, the Knicks standards now are players who want to play basketball.
It's like he's in some school and he's introduced the metric system, and he's telling everyone about how people that really like numbers will love the metric system. Just saying, if you really like math, you'll love the metric system. Mills goes on to say, we're fortunate that we had a group of young players who really enjoyed being here.
I don't want to hear any more of this.
They understand what it's like to play in you had garbage. You had complete and goddamn garbage, and you're excited. You're glad they wanted to be here. I don't want them here. They understand what it's like to play in New York. They understand what it's like to play poorly in New York and what it's like to play in the Garden. When guys are thinking about where they're going in free agency, they want to play with an elite player, and we have that in Carmelo. No one is coming here because Carmelo's here. No one's coming here because Carmelo's half broken and the roster sucks. No one's saying I need to play next to Melo. He's not LeBron. He doesn't share the ball the way LeBron does. We have a group of role players around him who all had a good experience.
Oh yeah?
No, you don't have a group of role players around him. You have no one around him. You have Langston Galloway is as good as it gets, and Shaved. So when they're talking to players about what it's like to be here with Phil, what it's like to play with Fish as a coach, what it's like to play with Carmelo, we're confident that all those conversations are positive.
So they don't even know, they're just assuming.
We completely sucked, and no one got fired. No one's held accountable. You might as well come here.
Of course these guys are happy to play. They would have been out of the league if the Knicks didn't take them.
And then we had the benefit of Carmelo having gone through free agency and the recruitment process last summer. So he sits down with me a lot and talks to Phil and talks about was important in his journey and what wasn't important. Well, Steve, money was important in my journey. So you might want to give people money.
And
Done.
everything other than money was not important.
Maybe he just starts like screwing with like Steve, what you need to do is unzip their pants and just they'll go with it, okay? Jackson says, we know there are a limited number of guys we can bring in here this year. We think we'll get a competitive guys to play. I think we'll complement the guys we have here, and we're going to move forward.
Okay, I don't want to hear it.
Do you anticipate players being resistant to the idea of running the triangle? Phil says, players who are resistant to it shouldn't be here. Guys who want to play basketball and feel comfortable with their skills should understand that there's ample opportunity to play a game that's an evolved game. It's a thinking man's game. It's a logical game. Do you want to play an involved game, Jay? Do you want to play a thinking man's game?
They're not playing chess.
It really is like he's talking about chess. An evolved game. Steph Curry, what were you thinking when you hit those shots? Oh, I went through an entire thought process where I hit that shot, or I just shot. If Phil says we need a big guy, well, we just sat in a film session with 4 big guys who watched the way a big guy operates in the triangle. And I think it's a lot more attractive than a lot of basketball that they'll see at other teams play. I guess that must be the guys in the draft.
Yeah.
Hang on. This is where it gets great. Phil says, we're trying to find players who are the best fit for us. We're really chasing as much information as we can. We're not interested in guys who are just interested in the money and in their branding. They have to have a little more to their life than just those selfish desires. There's nothing wrong with chasing money, and there's nothing wrong with making the most for your name. But that seems to be the running theme that you see a lot of these days. Who cares about money and branding? Is anyone in particular you can think of?
No, I can't. Nobody comes to mind.
Yeah. Also, Phil Jackson, how's Carmelo's rehab going? Swimmingly.
Great.
There's nothing else to go in the. It's just a pile of horseshit. And now the Knicks are talking about trading down more. Why are they? They said there was a posting I saw on Knicks blog. If they don't get Okafor with the number 4 pick, if he's off the board, they're going to trade the pick. Great.
If we don't get a guy who sucks at defense, we're at trading this pick. We are determined to get a guy who's bad on defense.
Oh my God! I feel like everyone in the draft should just say, Phil, I'm not really into the triangles. You don't want to draft me. Why would you want to come to New York anymore?
I think
You have some dumb system that no one else plays that doesn't seem to work, and you have a star who's like half broken.
I think the whole playing in New York City thing has really just been blown out of proportion.
Right. If this was like 1920 maybe, and people hadn't like been to New York before, and like
coming to the big city, see?
Yeah, they act like it's some place like that people can't go to if they want to just go hang out.
Right.
And they act like it's just some amazing thing. Like, yeah, I mean, the team's in Cleveland. You've never even heard of Cleveland, have you?
It's hard to get around in Cleveland because all we have is horse-drawn buggies.
In New York, we pay people lots of money, but in Oklahoma, they pay you in chickens.
All right, we have so many questions on so many different mediums, so let's try and bang some of these out.
Just want to say, okay, I know this isn't the questions, but what do you think of the Bledsoe rumor?
Well, let's just get to that when we get to the questions.
I was just talking about it. We'll skip it over. It's going to be a bunch of questions. Just what do you think about Bledsoe? Number 4 pick for the number 13 pick and Bledsoe.
At first, I said, no, he's way too injury prone. And then I looked, and surprisingly, he played 81 games this season.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's a very good young player. He plays decent defense. He plays decent offense. Chances are it's hard to get a player better than him in the draft.
Yeah, I don't think we would end up with a point guard that I don't think Moutier is going to be better than Bledsoe.
He probably is going to get a max deal. If not, what kind of deal is he on now? He's probably on a pretty high deal to begin with.
Yeah, he's on. Give me 1 second. He just signed a new deal.
Right.
He's on $13 million a year.
I would take him in that salary.
For 5 years. That's not bad.
And I guess you get a 13th pick, so you still get a young guy.
He's 25.
I mean, I don't hate this trade.
It's not bad. Plus, a 13th pick, you could probably still get somebody decent.
Yeah. By the way, is it weird? I just... Every time I search for something online, I get advertised. I know we talk about this on Brink, but I'm just staring at the Knicks, the post, and right next to it, there's an ad for a Subaru Legacy, the car. I was looking at that car, and they're like, here's that car. And the internet's so creepy.
I just added an app to Chrome that's supposed to block all those things.
Really creepy when they just everything.
I bought my dad Omaha Steaks for Father's Day, and then I go onto Facebook, and there's an ad for Omaha Steaks. So I'm like, get out of my computer. Stop looking at my stuff.
Okay, let's go to questions.
Let's go to questions. Twitter, at NY Knicks Podcast.
Oh, you want to point out that there's we have lots of new content on our website. Jay, you want to go with that?
Yeah, Steven wrote a very nice piece on the Knicks from a Canadian perspective. And then Ian has been writing a multi-piece draft. It was Steve, not Steven. And then Ian has been writing a draft evaluations. So that was a 5-parter. That's all up there. And then he wrote a piece on the trades during the finals. And tomorrow we're going to put up his mock draft. And he's also got another piece coming on Tuesday. So he's been doing a lot of writing.
Okay, go to the questions. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah,
awesome.
He's going to write about trades on Tuesday. So yeah, they're all really well done too. So thank you.
Yeah, anyone else out there, you want to get your writing out there? We have a great platform for doing it.
The New York Knicks Podcast.com is the website if you want to check out all that stuff. Or you could join our Facebook group and we post the links on there. So Twitter.
Yes.
Steven writes, do you guys have any comments about the way LeBron James treated David Blatt during the finals?
Like his bitch?
Yeah, it was... I don't know. Isn't LeBron going to do that to pretty much everybody?
Yeah, I mean, they say the difference is Jordan did that, but he did it behind closed doors a little bit more.
Yeah, but we all know LeBron's obnoxious.
Yeah, at the same time, if he was openly just being defying his play calls, but I guess in the end of the day, this is Blatt's first year in the NBA, and LeBron felt like, I know this stuff. I don't know. I think the problem with LeBron is that it's weird. For the guy's so good, he only has rookie coaches. He has guys that don't have a lot. What's his name in Miami was a guy that also was a new coach. He doesn't have guys who've been in the league for a long time coach him anymore.
Yeah, that is interesting.
You would think they would just get a guy that's been coaching for a long time and have him be his coach. It would make a guy that he would actually respect.
You would think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I understand Blatt was hired before LeBron got there, so you would think LeBron would just said, hey, I'm not saying what I'm doing in the free agency. Blatt's a really bad choice if you want me to come there.
Let's see. Barron writes, would you trade the...
Or do you think it just interrupt there again, or maybe LeBron likes it better because then LeBron can be part coach. If a guy was if they hired, I don't know, let's say Popovich is not available. Let's say Popovich was there. LeBron would have to take a backseat to Popovich.
Maybe LeBron asks for, not famous coaches. But I mean, the thing is with Blatt, he won 8 championships in Europe, so it's not like he was a nobody.
Wait, he won 8 championships for what? Playing in the YMCA?
I think it was the second best league in the world.
Oh, well, isn't it the NBA, and then you fall off a cliff to find the next league?
Well, I mean, it's better than having a rookie coach.
No, I think that's true. That's true. I think you're right. He did have he had an impressive resume. Right.
Yeah, it's not like it was a guy who's well, I watched a lot of videotape.
It's not like they had Derek Fisher coaching the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, go to the questions.
Baron writes, would you trade the Knicks' first-round pick and Tim Hardaway? Yes. No, I didn't see the first-round pick. First-round pick and Tim Hardaway for DeMar DeRozan, Terrence Ross, and Toronto's 20th pick.
No. DeRozan's good, but I wouldn't do it. I don't think he's good enough to trade this pick.
Yeah, I feel like DeRozan puts up good numbers on like mediocre teams.
He seems like a very good complementary player. He's not someone you're going to build around. Hopefully you're getting some guy you can build around or close to it.
Yeah, and the 20th pick, and Terrence Ross seems like he had one good season and then just flamed out.
I mean, is DeRozan a beast on defense? Am I missing something?
Not that I know. I would say no on that one.
He's not bad. He's not a bad player. I mean, like obviously he's a pretty decent piece there in Toronto, but I went through this.
Let's see. NBA Zombie writes, we should trade for Nick Stauskas so we can have Sauce Castillo on the team. We could trade Melo's shoes for his Sauce deal. That's his nickname, Sauce Castillo.
Whose nickname?
Nick Stauskas.
Who's Nick Stauskas? Who are you talking about?
He's an NBA player. He's on, I believe, the Kings.
Ah.
Yeah, he's on the Kings.
Oh, okay. I thought you were making a joke.
No. His nickname is Sauce Castillo, which is
I guess you were making a joke. He was making a joke anyhow, but let's go to the next question. Do you want to trade for this guy? I don't understand.
Well, I want his nickname. It would be cool to have a guy named Sauce Castillo on the team. Oh yeah, on iTunes we are now ahead of Bill Simmons. I know he quit his show a month ago.
That'd be amazing. Why don't we just nickname? We're ahead of Bill Simmons.
Yeah, I mean I know he quit his show a month ago, but we are ahead of him on iTunes now.
Oh wow, I'm just looking. Oh yeah, you posted that on the page.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't notice that part.
Oh, you thought I was just randomly posting snapshots of iTunes?
I didn't really look closely. we're what's hot, and Bill Simmons is not what's hot, having not produced a show in a month.
That's all.
Who's number one? Who's this guy number one? I can't read it.
I don't know.
Guess crap.
I just saw we were ahead of Bill Simmons, and
Around the horn, we're coming for you. Dan Patrick's number one. Wow.
Let's see. Lee writes, I have a feeling Russell's going to be a better player than Okafor. If any are available by the 4th pick, who should we pick? Russell or Okafor?
Russell.
Yeah, I would say Russell.
Yeah, I don't think this is a question. I think Russell, I mean, who knows? But Okafor does not seem the guy I want the Knicks to take.
If Porzingis turned out to be the 2nd pick, who do you think would be 3rd, 4th, and 5th?
Okay, so assuming Towns goes first,
yeah,
Porzingis goes to
Lakers,
which would be surprising. 3 is not going to be Okafor. I just don't see Philly taking him. So I think 3 would be Russell.
But we're not picking 3rd.
I know Philly would take Russell.
Oh, Philly! I thought you said Phil.
Oh no, sorry, Philly. Philly would take Russell, or actually they might take Moutier. They probably take Moutier in hopes he doesn't come here next year.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, I heard so what's his name is going to be out again next year?
Yeah, Embiid.
Embiid might be out next season.
That was their whole strategy to bank their entire future on Embiid, and now he might just have chronic foot problems.
Yeah. It's not. I feel like when the NBA is really worried about teams doing like just drastic tanking year after year, they're not going to have a problem. Everyone's going to see what Philly did, and no one's going to do this again.
Right. I mean, what a terrible...
It is not going well there.
No, it's not. Let's see. Bledsoe rumors, we talked about that. Can Phil work his Zen magic and get Aldridge and or Gasol? No.
Gasol, no. Aldridge is not out of the question, but...
Aldridge is from Texas, and the Spurs are recruiting him.
Oh, then what? He'd have to be insane not to go to the Spurs.
Yeah. How about a podcast meetup at Barclays? Let's cheer for our future star. What do you think?
That'd be cool, but Jay's class.
I am in class from 8:15 to 10:15 on draft night.
So we will not, but we will be doing a show shortly thereafter, and we will talk about all the awesomeness that did not happen that night.
And we will try to do a meetup sometime during. We will do a meetup.
We will do a meetup next year.
Yes.
During the maybe the first game of the year, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll do a meetup, and it'll be awesome for both people that show up.
Yeah, me and Mark. Yeah. Let's see if we trade down to get. If we trade down our pick to get a vet and a rookie, which team is the best partner? Probably the Suns with Bledsoe.
Yeah, I mean that seems like I can't think of a better deal we could get. Like Bledsoe would be a solid guy. If you trade the pick and you got Bledsoe, I would say that's okay. I can't think of anything else we would get that'd be close to that.
Yeah. NBA Zombie writes Greg Oden. He means as a backup, not a starter.
I would take a chance on Greg Oden. Why not?
I would not.
Why? Because we have so many good players on our roster that we can't take a chance on him?
It's a waste of a roster spot.
So are the guys that we're going to have on the roster anyway.
He's not going to play a second. Why have a guy who's just not going to play?
Is he healthy now? Is he not healthy? What's the deal?
Is he ever healthy?
I would take a chance on him.
He
could pull a Grant Hill and age 32, suddenly get back in the league.
No, I'm not.
He's still, how old is he? He's probably can't be more than 25.
Probably not, but I mean, he's never played.
I would take a chance on Greg Oden. I think it would be he's 27. Though this picture makes him look like he's 87.
He looked like that when he was 18.
I know. It's unbelievable. He has 2 workouts coming up for NBA teams.
Great.
The Hornets and Mavericks. I don't know. He's just one of those guys that if he came back and ended up being good, he'd be so mad he didn't try him out.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's it for Twitter. Thank you for all the questions.
Any emails?
Oh, we have so many emails.
Wow. I was going to go right to Facebook questions.
No. Let's see. Email, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Lorenzo writes, you guys really shouldn't read questions from social media. People are either drunk or don't proofread. Initially, I thought you guys were illiterate, but then one time I jumped on Facebook and read some of the questions that people ask, and I couldn't decipher them either. Turns out you guys are geniuses. Thank you, Lorenzo.
That's pretty funny.
He also writes, that was nice of LeBron to wear gold shoes in Game 6 to help celebrate the Warriors title. He's such a sweetie pie. I like Lorenzo's emails. Let's see. Andrew writes, hey guys, I just finished listening to the Hahn and Humpty show with Chad Ford as their special guest. Alan Hahn has a guy named Humpty on his show?
Yeah, it's Hahn and Humpty. You've never heard that?
No.
Okay, go on.
He brought up a rumor that seems to be more than just speculation, at least on the Knicks side of things. He has some intel that says the Knicks could send their 4 pick to Phoenix for Bledsoe and 13 if the Suns were willing to entertain it. The Suns picked up Brandon Knight last year and have a logjam at point guard. That 13th pick could turn into somebody like Kaminsky, Payne, Lyles, etc. Whether this rumor picks up steam or not, would you guys be on board with this move? In my opinion, would be yes, absolutely. You get a star in Bledsoe and still maintain a lottery pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a great lottery pick. I mean, 13, but...
Yeah, but Kaminsky he would be a good, backup big man.
Maybe. I mean, he looked pretty good during the tournament. He looked pretty good in the finals, I mean. Yeah, I don't hate that. Bledsoe seems like a young guy that might be worth getting. He's got a lot of upside.
A lot of upside. That's what we like. We like potential.
We're tired of guys that had a lot of upside 10 years ago.
Kazim writes, hey, Jay and Mark. First of all, I want to say I love the podcast. In this abomination of a season of the so-called team, the Knicks, you guys really made it go a lot smoother with your humor and analysis in quotes of the team from where stats guy to letting JR and Shump go to letting stat go and so on. So to keep it up, guys. I hope you guys can start doing the Knicks podcast twice a week this season, as it would be really awesome. Also, my question is, now that the season's over and trash talking begins with Klay Thompson taking shots at LeBron and also Green, the draft fast approaches. How likely do you think Porzingis goes 2 or 3 so we can get Russell? Is it just a bunch of rumors and smoke and mirrors to throw everybody off? Would love to get your opinion, guys. Keep up the good work. Team Mark.
Yeah. smoke and mirrors. I find most of the time weird things don't happen in the draft. For the most part, people go with who you expect.
Except when Cleveland picks Bennett as number 1.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I would really surprised if it's not Towns and Okafor from 1 and 2.
Yeah, I would too.
I think everyone just kind of throws it out like the Lakers are throwing out Russell just to see if Philly will like offer them something.
Right.
Everyone's willing to swap if they can keep the guy they want.
I think if Lakers do take Porzingis, then that's where it gets interesting because
it'd be interesting also if the Lakers took you, but they're not doing either.
Well, I mean, because Philly's definitely going to take a point guard.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's no way in hell they're taking I mean, I could see them taking Russell, the Lakers, but there's no way in hell they're taking Porzingis number 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
But you're right. It gets interesting then because Okafor probably falls to the Knicks then.
Right. And then he'll definitely be a bust.
I don't think he'll be a bust. He just will be. Do you think he'll be David Lee?
A 20 and 10 guy, I'd take that in a heartbeat.
But like a 20 and 10 guy doesn't play a lot of defense?
Fine. Better than we got now.
We don't got much.
John is following up on his email from last show. If you remember, he was talking about the fixing the lottery.
Okay.
And he was talking about how the worst 3 teams getting the highest chance. What was he saying? The worst team would be guaranteed a 14th pick, second worst 13th. So basically, like reverse.
Yeah.
And we were saying teams might
tank
out of
to get out of the 8th seed. Yeah.
So he said, so you're saying teams currently in the playoffs would tank out of the playoffs for a 20% chance to get a player that in a few years would develop into a player that would help them make the playoffs. Well, when you put it that way, you know, my system would stop teams from tanking all year long. He wants to adjust the system. I think the worst team in the league would be guaranteed the 4th pick and so on like it is now. The most ping pong balls would go to teams 17 through 19. Now, if you tank out of the playoffs, you have an 80% chance of getting the 14th pick.
Wait, what? What's he doing now?
He's saying do it reverse like he said before, but the worst 3 teams can't. Kind of like the way it is now where you can't get 3 spots worse than you are.
Okay.
So do it reverse, but like the worst team can't pick worse than 4th.
Well, he's reversing it so the team that's the team that's 14 gets a what is it? The team that's 15 gets number 1 pick, right?
Something like that.
The best bad team gets number 1 pick, right? But now the number 1 pick, the guy who's number 1 only falls to 4, but the number 2, the second worst record falls to 5, or
no, the most ping pong balls would go through teams 17 through 19. So you could still, you have the best chance if you just miss the playoffs.
Oh, so he's just doing, instead of doing the actual picks, it's just like the ping pong balls. The ping pong balls go in reverse.
Right.
I could still see teams the way he had before. I see a no-brainer. If you're an 8th seed, you don't really think you're gonna if you're close to you're close to being really good. Add that number 1 draft pick, it'll be really good.
Right.
But this system,
it's not bad.
What if your team is just bad and they can never get better because you never give them a good pick?
Well, I mean, you still could.
Right, but if you're Charlotte and every year you're in like the top five worst teams in the league and you're not trying to tank, and every year we're giving you a number 12 pick, you're never going to get out of that.
True.
I mean, the whole point of this is that people aren't supposed to tank, but the teams that are really bad are supposed to get better. Instead, you're going to have teams that are just really bad, just staying bad and never getting good because they never get a good player.
Well, some teams just suck at picking as well.
Well, that's true too. I mean, that's why Charlotte for so many years was just so bad. But at still the same time, then you really have no chance. Like, you can't make a reverse like the way Cleveland was terrible, and then they got LeBron, so they became really good the first time. Or Orlando gets Shaq, and they suddenly become really good. That doesn't happen. Then if you're Orlando or Cleveland, you just stay bad. But a team that's like on the cusp of being pretty good gets really good.
Okay, Nicholas writes.
Okay.
He is also following up on an email from last week where he was talking about us trading Hardaway and Calderon for a draft pick.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that?
I remember. He's Hardaway, Calderon for then 1 pick in the draft. Go on.
He wants to explain. Cauley Stein is the best pick if Russell Okafor and Towns are taken. Hardaway and Calderon is enticing for Detroit and Orlando because they both need a point guard and a small forward. Orlando, in particular, needs shooters. Orlando gets shooters, a small forward, and a point. The trade exception helps them cap space, either re-sign Tobias Harris or sign a big in free agency. Detroit gets Hardaway Jr., close to his father, who is on Detroit's staff, and a point guard. They are interested in Calderon and Hardaway Jr. What really helps them is getting the rookie contract of Hardaway Jr. and the trade exception. If we can get Winslow, we should get him. See, this still comes down to Hardaway's kind of garbage, and you're not going to. And Calderon is nearing the end of his career, and you're not going to give up a young guy with a lot of potential for those two guys.
This basically comes down to you have to smoke a lot of weed to get this to make sense.
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand how anyone, the garbage and the end of the career. I understand if Hardaway was as good as we hoped and Calderon was as good as we hoped, then this trade might work out.
Right, but they're not.
Yeah.
Okay, that is it for emails and Twitter.
Okay, question 1 of 300.
Yeah,
Daniel writes.
We're running long, just to let you know.
Oh, already?
Yeah.
Daniel writes, Curry didn't happen, but it was Phil's first choice. JR and Shump contributed a little when things were on the line in the finals. While things haven't worked out perfectly for the Knicks, has the past month shown Phil had a right idea?
I think he's still suspect.
I mean, I guess it comes down to we got Phil to see for this offseason. The offseason really hasn't started till the draft starts. So it's hard to judge him until we know what he does. Yeah. Even though I'm kind of starting to hate the triangle and every time he speaks. George writes, obviously the West being a stronger conference than the East, but if it was a possibility that some players from the West were to jump ship to the Eastern Conference to make the league a more even spread, what players would you like to see make a transition, and to which teams would they suit to make as an impact? I'd like to see Steph Curry, Durant jump to the Knicks. Your call, Jay?
I would like to see. I would add Gasol to the Knicks as well.
Here's maybe a better idea. Not to disregard your question, George. Why not just swap some teams from the East to the West, or West to East, whatever? Just swap some teams.
I would rather see the team swap. Yeah.
Yeah, and who would you swap?
Probably New Orleans because they're actually in the East.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
And I would say Memphis because they're also in the East.
Yeah, and who do you give up?
Give up somebody who's on the borderline, like in Indiana, Chicago, Detroit. Somebody who's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, you can play a little geography game here, and I remember in baseball, though, my favorite was the Atlanta Braves played in the West for many, many years, which I was like, they're literally on the East Coast.
Right. What would you like? Maybe Milwaukee, Chicago, or something like that.
Yeah, just swap some teams out there. It wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't be that bad of an idea. And that would. But things are always going to get uneven, a little uneven. The East is going to go through a bad period right now, but the East will get better. And maybe the West will go through a bad period. Are you concerned about how weak the East is?
It's kind of annoying. It's been bad for 12, 15 years.
Since Jordan left?
Yeah.
Liam writes, well, actually, I think it started getting really bad when Shaq left. That was the downfall.
Yeah, that was around the time Jordan left.
Yeah, that's true. Liam writes, Chris Middleton, Mac contract really? Or Mark contract, Mac? Chris, do we ask questions of the hell of it? Marc and Jay put a effing limit on this. 5 questions max is reasonable unless you give an iTunes review.
Sounds like a good rule to me.
Okay. Gillum writes, would you offer a max contract for Chris Middleton? Oh, I guess that was would you offer a max contract for Chris Middleton, Jay?
If I was tripping out on acid.
He was 10th in the league in the ESPN's real plus minus, 9th in wins over replacement. I think the Bucks may not match. He played most of his injuries, most of his minutes the power forward this season, but they already have Akatubutukututu and Jabari Parker, and who plays this position too, and will most definitely demand contracts in a couple of years. So yeah, Chris Middleton might be leaving Milwaukee, but I think you can get him for less than a max contract.
Well, if there's one thing I like is the stat of wins over replacement player.
Yeah.
It's my favorite stat.
The other day I was playing some basketball with some friends out nearby, and I had like 2 wins over replacement.
Yeah, I said my warp is through the roof right now.
My purr was awesome.
Oh, Brendan also wrote on Twitter, tell Mark it's not Deladova, it's Delavadova.
Delava not going to care anymore because he sucked in the rest of the playoffs. Gillum writes, in the last 15 years, Knicks had a total of 23 drafted players, 11 first-rounders, 5 years without a first-round pick. Why? Actually, I thought we had less picks.
It seems like we had less picks.
Yeah, it does seem like we had less. Gillum writes, according to ESPN, the Heat plan to offer Dragic $80 million for 5 years. Knicks could offer a max of $85 million for 4 years. He was third-team All-NBA. Would you offer him a max if we don't draft Russell?
Sure.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we're going to get a lot more money when the salary cap goes up. Greg writes, guess whose inbox this is? Steve Kerr, sorry about backing out, but LOL, Bargs makes more money than Curry. Mello, so I'm going to get superstar teammates like Jordan Kobe or Marc Gasol. No. Mark M. Woodson, hey Phil, I think I left my playbook at the MSG. You seen a post-it lying around? Kobe, how's losing, Phil? Miss me yet? It's kind of funny. Carl Towns, thanks for winning in April. Now I have to live in Minnesota, a-hole.
All right, next.
The next question. Greg also writes thoughts on this is the Eric Bledsoe thing again. Greg writes, can we all tweet the picture of this pic to JR? One man's trash and is another man's treasure. Nope, still trash. You saw that with the one that JR and Shumpert did?
Yeah, let's not read visual questions.
Okay, Rosero writes, who was the idiot who made a question of max money, $100 million contract to Draymond Green? Okay, would you give max money to Draymond Green? I would give him. He has a lot of potential. I would totally give him $100 million. I mean, whatever the max deal is.
I'm thinking about it because he's young. He plays really good defense. He rebounds. I mean, it's more than just points. Like, he doesn't score a ton of points, but he does literally everything else.
He's a guy you want to build around. He's a guy who would play. He can play multiple positions, defend multiple positions, not even play multiple positions.
Mm-hmm. You could give him much worse max contracts out than him.
Yeah, I feel like he'd be I'd like him. Who would you rather have, Green or Dragic?
I think Green.
Green or Bledsoe?
I think Green.
That's closer. I might go with Bledsoe, but I'd be pretty excited to get Green.
Yeah.
Like who? If we were like, oh, we have Melo, and we added a guy who plays phenomenal defense, who can really play off a Melo.
Yeah.
Greg writes, "Happy Father's Day, Mark." Thank you, Greg. Sean writes, "Any chance of at getting David Lee back for backup purposes, assuming we're getting Marc Gasol? What do you think David Lee's going to get? And we're not getting Marc Gasol, so. But what do you think David Lee's going to get free agency wise?
Well, he's not a free agent.
Oh yeah,
16.5 this year, but he's expiring.
Oh, so do you think we would trade for him for 16? He has that kind of contract. We're not going to trade for him.
Well, who can we trade? We only have one player making that much money, and it's Melo.
That would be really just like getting rid of Melo.
You know, there's 3 guys in the league with Green as the last name that I would like on this team.
Greg writes, that's kind of we can't get David Lee, so not until next year when he's a free agent. Greg writes, we all know that Jay's favorite player is Larry Bird. I wonder who Mark is. My favorite player, my favorite non-Knick of all time is Magic Johnson.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Greg writes, Kevin Love for our first-round pick, yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay. I can think of 20 players I'd want more than Love on the team next year.
Like a year ago, I probably would have said yay.
Yeah, this is I would definitely not. Well, how much money would you pay for Love? He comes to you and goes like, Knicks, make me your best offer, and I'll probably sign. Well, if the offer is good enough, obviously.
14?
$14 million a year?
Mm-hmm.
10?
Seems better than 10.
I just don't think he fits well on our team. Greg writes, is Woody back?
Fit in the triangle.
You guys have to have any Derrick Rose interview. I think we're going to retire Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose should retire.
Greg writes, Jay, you still high on Porzingis?
Of course.
Not sure if I spelled his name right. Greg, thoughts on Metallica performing the national anthem at Game 5, or at least half of them?
3/4. I'm not counting Trujillo.
Okay, what's your thoughts on that?
It was kind of cool.
Greg, how happy and relieved are you, just like me, that the Cleveland LeBrons didn't win the title? Of course, we're happy. George writes, Eric Bledsoe for our pick. Okay. John writes,
do you know we've never done this podcast without LeBron being in the finals? 5 straight years.
I'm looking ahead, and it may be a long time before we do a podcast without LeBron in the finals.
It's ridiculous that he's been in the finals every year we've done this podcast.
Here's a question: if LeBron goes to 10 straight finals, win or lose them,
yeah,
it'll be who do you see taking out LeBron? What team in the East? Who's the most likely to take LeBron out going forward? I have no idea who's going to take LeBron out.
No clue. There's nobody good in the East right now.
You know Cleveland's going to add some good players to the team next year. No question the team's going to be pretty good.
They might end up with Ray Allen and Dwayne Wade instead of who the hell would...
How does Ray Allen not retire already?
He did retire this year.
Oh, yeah. He's going to come back?
I wouldn't be surprised.
But anyway, so the Cleveland's going to be pretty good next year. The Hawks, do you think they're going to take the jump to the next level? The Bulls, no one stays healthy. Maybe the Bucks start getting really good?
I don't think... LeBron's going to be in the finals again.
LeBron's in the finals. Go to Vegas and just bet everything on this. Outside of him getting injured, nothing's going to stop him going to the finals next year.
The thing is, the East is just so bad.
I will make a bet for LeBron going to the finals in 2018. I just don't see what's going to happen in the East right now.
It's ridiculous how bad the East is.
It is ridiculous. It is so bad. No, this is the trade you should make. Cleveland goes to the West, and Sacramento comes to the East.
Yeah, would Cleveland even make the playoffs in the West?
Yes, they would make the playoffs in the West. And if Sacramento is the only other team to compete with in the East, the Knicks have a nice path to the finals, hopefully.
Sacramento might make the playoffs in the East.
Sacramento might go to the finals. That would be an interesting move. Make all the good teams play each other.
Yeah,
we're in the second division. We get to go.
This is my plan for the NBA. Have the good teams play each other.
And have the Knicks get to play only bad teams and pretend they're not bad teams. Liam writes, I'm tired of all the stupid ass give max money to this role player questions. But here's the thing. Everyone's looking for max money. No one looks for a $12 million for 4 years. Everyone wants max money.
I feel like the media has been pushing for Green to get a max contract.
I think the worst thing you did was create this whole max money thing. Just get rid of the max money. You pay whatever you want, and contracts probably wouldn't be so crazy. Because people would stop. People would realize they have a salary cap. They can't pay. Some guys would get crazy contracts, but a lot of these role players wouldn't get these max contracts.
Yeah, it's like if you're the best guy on your team, you feel like you should get the max.
Everyone's demanding. It's almost like because there's a max money deal, everyone needs to get the max money deal.
Yeah, it's all about status.
Yeah. Instead, if there was no max money deal, you might be happy with $12 million a year, but you're like, I'm going to get max. William writes, if Mark was to tell his child to be like this NBA star, who would he choose as a role model? Tim Duncan.
There you go.
That's a pretty good one, I feel like. I can't wait till it comes out later on that Tim Duncan has like the same like he's just like Tiger Woods. He's nailing hoes everywhere. He's like he beats his wife probably. Just take it to another degree. Imagine like he just comes out. He's like the worst person ever. William writes, why do we hate LeBron? He is not a compulsive gambler like Jordan or alleged rapist like Kobe.
Because he's obnoxious. Because he joins super teams and then he brags about how good his team is.
Because you don't want the guy who's going to be like one of the greatest of all times to like had to build his own team. If you re-sign with Cleveland, everyone would still love LeBron.
Because he gets the benefit of the doubt for 90% of the calls and still finds it necessary to flop constantly and complain the one time he doesn't get a call.
I feel like we weren't complaining about that before he left. I think it's all about the decision.
I don't know if feel like he gets more entitled by the year. I don't think he flopped as much in his first few years.
Or do you think? I mean, people obviously people love Jordan, but that's more in retrospect. A lot of people hated Jordan while he was playing.
Yeah, but Jordan didn't flop.
Right. I was just going to say, like, if it was like social media with the level of like media we have now, do you think people would have hated LeBron? Like Jordan would have been more of a villain.
Yeah, especially if he did some of the obnoxious things LeBron's done.
I'm sure Jordan was pretty obnoxious in his day. You just missed. You didn't hear about it as much.
Exactly.
That's a good question though. William writes, "Cancel out my ex." I put what? All I gotta do is put my mind on this shit. God damn.
Okay, next.
Okay. I'm gonna skip it. Rosera writes,
if it's
exactly
completely unintelligible, skip it.
Okay, Rosera writes, exactly enough with the LeBron hate. I say, hey, what's some matter with forgot the rest of the song? LeBron's really good. I mean, it is cool that we get to see LeBron play. Would you say that, Jay? It's pretty cool you get to see LeBron play basketball?
Yeah, I mean, I saw him live once, and it was a lot of fun.
Or just watching TV. You are watching, like, it's like beyond like having to be able to watch Jordan or having watched LeBron. You are watching you have seen like two of the greatest players to play in the NBA.
Right.
Gillum writes, and William writes, I no longer hate Jewish landlords because I now identify as one. Gillum writes, we don't have any second-round picks this year. Number 32 goes to Houston from the super successful Camby trade. Do you expect us to buy draft picks?
Still giving up picks for Camby? God. Hate
yeah. Do you think they're going to try to buy any second-round picks? I would.
Yeah. Why not?
I said they buy some draft pick around 55 or 56.
Yeah, the write-up Ian did came up with 3 good second-rounders that are gettable.
There's so Gillum writes some stats on Russell, and he asks if they're concerning.
Oh yeah, he's a bad shooter.
Yeah, he's a bad shooter against good competition. He's like a really bad shooter. They say like he's 38%. I mean, 38%. It was only 17. Actually, not even that small of a sample size.
No, we always have guards who can't shoot. It's kind of annoying.
The problem also is when you look at college stats, you have to say well, how good was he against Duke versus how good was he against Akron?
Right.
And so a lot of guys put up really good stats when it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you have to also look at a guy like Winslow, who got it done in a tournament against really good competition. Maybe that guy's pretty good.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Rosera writes, this Porzingis kid is so damn skinny. You sure he is NBA ready? I would take Cauley Stein over Porzingis any day of the week or this month. Jay, Cauley Stein or Porzingis?
Porzingis.
Porzingis or Russell?
Russell.
Porzingis or Moutier?
Porzingis.
Porzingis or your mom? Who would you rather have in your life? Porzingis or Winslow?
Porzingis.
Porzingis or Okafor?
Porzingis.
Porzingis or Towns.
Towns.
So it's basically Towns and Russell and no one else over Porzingis.
Yep.
Wow. Cauley Stein or Moutier?
Cauley Stein.
Cauley Stein or Winslow?
I'm thinking Winslow.
I'm getting really high on Cauley Stein. I kind of want the Knicks to draft him at 4. But I wouldn't mind Winslow. It's a tough one.
I am super impressed that Cauley Stein hit shots with nobody defending him.
Are you being sarcastic or not?
Yes, I am.
I mean, he was just nailing every shot. That really has just changed. The guy's supposed to be a great defender, super athletic, and the dude apparently can hit shots from anywhere on the court.
With nobody covering him.
Yeah, with no one anywhere near him. I don't know, but whatever. I mean, most big men can't do that, so. Rosario writes, why is there so... Okay, Christian writes, why would... So Rosario just basically asked, why isn't LeBron a good role model for my kids? What are you doing, Jay?
That is an email.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you were like playing a harp. Christian writes, would you let David Lee back at the mid-level exception? We can't get him back at the mid-level exception.
Well, a year from now.
Yeah, a year from now. Sure.
Absolutely.
Andrew writes, is it worth trying to bring Shumpert back? I miss his flat top.
If that's the only thing you miss about Shumpert, then I would say no.
What if you get him for like $3 million a year?
Yeah, $3 million's fine. I wouldn't pay much more than that, though.
Ali writes, I'm sorry, Jay, nothing personal against Porzingis. I'm sure he is a good player and may eventually be a great player, but I have been burned really badly by Bargs, and I don't trust another European, especially in such a crucial draft. I would be going all in on either Russell or Moutier or this new guy. Am I really starting to like Cameron Payne? Check him out.
Just because he's a tall, skinny white guy?
I don't know. I'm sure Cameron Payne is pretty good. I'm not going to be as impressed by anyone. I'm not impressed by Cameron Payne hitting a bunch of shots. It's Russell that, it's Cauley Stein that impresses me. Ollie writes,
you have a dog?
Yeah, I keep him on the street. Is it that loud?
It's pretty loud.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, you didn't know I had a dog all this time? When I keep saying my son, I meant my dog. Okay, Ollie writes, times like this, you wish more players would pull off an Eli Manning, Kobe thing and push their way to team they want, except for playing in a place like Minnesota. It's Minnesota, enough said. LOL. Why don't more players... Here's what happens. If Towns said, I'm refusing to play for Minnesota and they don't draft him, he'll go to the Lakers. We're not going to benefit.
Right.
So why don't more players do this? I mean, so far you have champions who have done it in Eli and Kobe. So you have to have a certain mindset and determination. Thoughts? So why don't more players push out of playing in bad places?
Because not everyone wants to start off their career looking like a complete dick.
Yeah, pretty much.
You never know where you're going to end up. You never know where you're going to get traded. What if you end up eating those words, a couple years later?
Right. I think most guys are pretty much happy just to make the NBA.
Yeah.
I think also the examples are kind of different because like Kobe is a much different player than Eli Manning is.
What do you mean?
Kobe's just, nothing against Eli. Like the Giants didn't win because they had Eli Manning. It was helpful, but they had an amazing defense.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Kobe is one of the greater players of all time. Do you understand the difference between Eli Manning and Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, but I'm not getting how that goes into the argument of both of them trying to...
Oh, no, I meant for to say, it's like, because he also said the whole certain mindset thing, the determination. Like, does that, like, that kind of guy would do that, maybe might be a better player because he's doing that.
Oh.
Whatever. I'm a Dog writes, Emeka Okafor, yes or no?
No. That guy hasn't played in like 2 years.
I would say the same thing I said about what's his name? The old dude.
Odin?
Odin, yes. I would say I would rather have Odin Okafor, but I wouldn't. I would be so unhappy if we tried Okafor. We don't have a roster.
That is a good point. We don't have a roster.
Okafor or Bargs?
Bargs.
Emeka. You would take Bargs over Emeka Okafor.
I don't think Okafor is playing at all.
Yeah, I would rather a guy doesn't show up to the arena than Bargs. Would you really want Bargs? What would you give him? How much would you pay Bargs to come back?
Vets minimum.
I wouldn't even take him at vet. I do not want him on the team. I'm a Dog writes, Lou Williams or Jamal Crawford?
Lou Williams.
I agree. There's a rumor they're going to go after Lou Williams. Not a bad guy on your bench. And Williams, for some reason, writes the word NBA. What did we learn today?
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, that was it, actually.
All right. We only did that in... we broke an hour again.
Okay. So the draft is coming up. Jay, prediction. Let's go. Number one.
Number one, Towns.
I agree. 2.
I think Lakers are going Okafor.
I thought you were going to say Porzingis.
No, they're trying to throw everyone off. They're going Okafor.
3, Philly.
Got to be Russell. They're definitely taking a guard.
Nope. Well, no, they're going to take a guard. They're going to take Moutier.
You think?
Because Philly's goddamn weird.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. If they do, then we're taking Russell.
I think Russell's not going to play good enough. His defense is not going to be good enough for them. We're taking Russell. Guaranteed Russell's a Knick Thursday night.
I heard Russell hasn't been blowing away people in his draft tryouts, which would definitely be a good reason the Knicks would take him.
Yeah, he's not blowing people away. When you look at him against real competition, he can't shoot. He sounds like a Knick. What are the chances? Give me from 0 to 100% chances the Knicks trade this pick.
I would say 40%.
I say 0%. Phil is just screwing with people because that's all Phil likes to do these days. He's trolling the Knicks fans.
I don't think it's the worst thing if the Knicks get like Bledsoe in the 13th pick.
No, I would agree with you, but I don't think it's going to happen. And do you? Who would be your ideal pick at 4? You said you said you think the Knicks are getting who?
Probably Moutier.
So you think the Knicks are going to go Moody? I said we're going to go Russell. Who would your ideal pick make it for?
Porzingis.
I would love the Knicks to work out a trade where they get Cauley Stein and someone else good.
And Porzingis.
I would love. I am high on Cauley Stein right now. Anything else?
No, it's time for bed.
What'd you learn today?
I learned that the draft is going to be surprising no matter who we get. I have no idea. It's amazing that I have absolutely no clue at this point.
Yeah, it would suck if it was like the Knicks had the number 1 pick and it was a no-brainer. We're getting Towns. That would be boring.
Well, I mean, Towns would be good. But, I mean, like, if we were number 2, you'd know we'd be taking Okafor, and then we'd just be nervous whether he's going to be good or not.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like either way we're going to get someone good. Just how good they're going to be is going to be the big question.
Yeah.
Okay. We will see you guys, everyone, very soon.
Yes, we will be back. We'll probably do a quick reaction podcast after the draft, but we'll see.
Okay.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye. You better go away.
I'm gonna leave you.
It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone.
Feels so good to say goodbye.
I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl.
Goodbye, everybody.
It's easy. That's what we all want to hear when it's time to work on the car. Like the AutoZone Rewards program. Spending $20 5 times earns you $20 towards the next job. Earning savings couldn't be easier. No user manual required or online tutorial needed. And you won't have to call that know-it-all uncle for advice either. Just spend $20 5 times and earn a $20 reward. Sign up for free at AutoZone.com/rewards or in store. Let's get you what you need.
Get in the zone.